Guys, even though I'm extremely sick with the flu today, but as promised, I'm gonna go ahead and drop ScentClub kit number 5 today. So if you're interested in finding out all about ScentClub kit number 5, then please stay tuned. Thanks so much for tuning in. This is Sebastian. Yeah, we're dropping ScentClub kit number 5 today, as promised. I'm not feeling the best, so if this video is a little bit dragging, I apologize, but I'm going to let you know all about ScentClub kit number 5 and the fragrances that are featured in it, some of the fixes that have been done to take care of the issues we had with the last kit, and of course, to continue, there are still some more fixes that need to be done here. But I think by the next kit, whenever that will be, when we drop next ScentClub kit number 6, I think everything should be fixed by then. But we've got 3 new fragrances in today's kit, in kit number 5, and I feel like they're perfectly spring appropriate. We've got Fleur de Lalita from Dusita, Parfums Dusita. We have Wake Up World with the infinity sign with the brand Parle Moi De Parfum. And then we have One Day's Oolong Tea. 3 different fragrances, but very, very excellent fragrances. These are really, really great fragrances that I really love and wear all the time. And so I'll let you know a bit more about each of them. But before we get to the fragrances and the details about each of them, we had some issues with the way the bottles were being held in the kits in the last drop, and so the company that's doing the fulfilling for us does now have the EVAs for them, as you can see here. The EVAs are like the ones we had for kits 1 to 3 with the previous design, so that is fixed. Also, the labeling on the bottles has been fixed, but I think it's also going to go through another change. In fact, I think we might change the bottles. I think some of you prefer the clear bottles, so don't hold me on that, and I don't know when that's going to be, but we might go back to the clear bottles after a few more kits down the line. But the labels are sticking fine now, and I've always loved the bottles, so these bottles I love, and actually I love the other bottles as well. I like these because they're nice and dark and easy to carry around, and they won't break. The other ones, since they were glass, I felt like if you put it in something and you drop something on it, it would crack and break. So it's a toss-up. I enjoy both, so I think we might go back to the glass. Don't hold me on that yet, and I don't know when that will happen, because right now we've got supplies all ordered and paid for, so we have to go through all of that stuff. So if you're new to ScentClub, it's 3 different fragrances, 5 ml each in a kit. Fragrances that I speak a lot about on the channel, fragrances that I love. So the way that I'm curating the ScentClub kits is fragrances that I speak about and I love, and for you guys that are living in places that you don't have access to a lot of fragrances, you can do the ScentClub kits and check out some of the fragrances that I keep talking about over and over again. So the other thing is, we are now shipping to 28 countries. Hopefully we'll add more in the future. So we are doing international shipping, and the shipping rates are normal now. They were originally, when we dropped on the first kit, we didn't do any international. Then we added Canada, and we added the UK and Australia, but those rates were higher. They were priority because we weren't familiar with shipping international and how packages get lost and things like that. So the fulfillment company deals with a lot of shipping, as they do a lot of different fragrance houses, and so they know how to ship internationally. So we now have 28 countries. So if you're outside of the USA, you can go to the website linked below for the kit number 5 and see if your country's there. And if your country's not there, send a message to the customer service and ask them to see if we can add the country in. So it's a great way to discover fragrances. And I don't know where you live in some countries if you have available or access to these fragrances. And the way I'm curating the fragrances, as I said, only fragrances that I enjoy and speak about on the channel. But also, I'm not featuring fragrances that are like already out there pretty plentifully. So you're not going to find the Almirages, the Zerjops, the Frederic Malls, and things like that, because those are already at department stores and places like that all over the world. So we'll never be featuring those. I mean, if they come to me and say we'd love to be featured, and I have a favorite fragrance from them, of course I might consider it. But still, I think it would be best to work with smaller houses that you might not have access to. So that's the deal. The kits are $49 each, 5 ml kits, shipped directly to you, 3 times 5 ml samples. And I think, as I said, it's a great way to discover the fragrances. So the way the fragrances are put in the kits are how old the brands are. So we've got Parfums Dusita, which is the oldest brand in the kit. Then we have Parle Moi De Parfum, which is the second oldest brand in the kit. And then we have One Day, which is the third oldest brand in the kit. The first brand and the second brand, the perfumers are the actual brand. So in this case, Parfums Dusita is Pissara Umavijani, who's created the fragrance. And with One Day, it's Michael Wong, who's created the fragrance. And with Parle Moi De Parfum, it's Michel Almairac is the perfumer, and the brand is run and owned by his own son. So it's in the family. So I felt like these are perfect fragrances for the spring. It is spring now, and let me tell you about the fragrances. So the first one, Parfums Dusita's Fleur de Lalita. It's a 2018 launch. You know what? This is a fragrance when she launched it in 2017. Well, she previewed it in 2017 at a conference, and at that time she gave me a 5 ml or a 10 ml. It was an instant love. It was such a beautiful such a beautiful fragrance. It's my favorite fragrance from this house, and it's a green floral. So you've got to like floral fragrances for this one. In fact, I recently featured it in a spring floral fragrances video. So it's very floral forward. You've got to be into floral fragrances for this one, and some of you guys probably will be into it, and ladies, perhaps you're already into this. But what I like about this one, there's a muskiness under there, and also lots of bitter greenness. So basically it feels like fresh bloomed flowers, and you're smelling those flowers. It's a bouquet of flowers, plus you're smelling all of their leaves, the greenness and things like that. Man, it's so beautiful. It's just a really, really beautiful fragrance, and I keep speaking about it, and I think it definitely deserves to be in my ScentClub kits. So this is Parfums Dusita Fleur de Lalita, a 2018 launch. That's fragrance number 1. And then this next one might be a little stronger fragrance from Parle Moi De Parfum, Wake Up World, with that infinity sign. I don't know if you can see that. So this is a 2022 launch, but also, as I said, this is the second oldest house in the kit. This is considered an amber fougere, and it's definitely an amber, but also kind of a floral, citrusy, fruity amber. And again, it's created by Michel Almairac, and this is actually a very nostalgic fragrance for me. Really love that about this fragrance. It reminds me of a fragrance that Michel Almairac had already created in the early 90s, but it's been modernized here. It was a men's fragrance called Minotaur from Paloma Picasso. Now we have a unisex version of it here, and absolutely in love with this fragrance. Really, really great. And it takes me back to the early 90s when I wore that fragrance and really enjoyed that kind of frosted bottle for the Minotaur. But here we've got lime, bergamot, green apples, tonka beans, rose, vanilla, benzoin, and ambroxan. And the ambroxan creates the muskiness in the base. Of course, we've got some sweetness, vanillic touches with the benzoin, ambery. Of course, it's an amber fougere. This is not your traditional amber fougere for me. It's more fruity, and it doesn't have your typical lavender-like notes in there for me. Maybe perhaps there's traces of it in there, but man, it's a beautiful, beautiful fragrance. And it's if you want something a little more intense for like spring, you want some warmth in the fragrance, but also fresh, because it's got freshness and warmth together to create this beautiful, fruity, floral, citrusy amber fragrance. Really great. I really love this fragrance. So this is Parle Moi De Parfum Wake Up World. And then finally, it's One Day's Oolong Tea. This one launched in 2021. So the brand calls this an aromatic gourmand. For me, it's a very dark, smoky, floral tea fragrance. And in that, I don't get much of the qualities of gourmands. It's not a traditional gourmand. Perhaps it's called a gourmand because tea fragrances, you know, with honey kind of go into the direction of gourmand. But this fragrance is definitely not like Zoologist Perfumes B. That's a honey fragrance. This has the sweetness from the honey. But for me, the more I wear this, the smokier it gets. I feel like the fragrance, you know, gets macerated over time. And for me, there's a lot of smokiness now. But it's totally a great interpretation of the Oolong Tea. There was a time I used to drink a lot of Oolong Tea. I was going through a tea phase, and I know how that smell is, and it's beautifully captured here. And sometimes the Oolong Tea would have traces of jasmine, and here we've got jasmine as well. So the jasmine's pretty in your face. And what I like about this one also, it's perfect in warm days, and you know, it has great trail. I really love the trail this one leaves, and I like the way it smells off of me as I'm walking around in the building that my studio is, and I can smell myself leaving the fragrance trail behind. It's that kind of a fragrance, but it's definitely tea. It has some coziness, more, you know, coziness from the honey, and then of course we've got clary sage in here as well, and then it dries down to kind of a woody type of a fragrance, but beautiful, really definitely worth it. And this was an Art and Olfaction winner recently. Art and Olfaction Awards, actually it won last year. Not to change the subject, but those of you that are in the LA area, I'll be visiting the Art and Olfaction events the week of the 9th. So if you're down there and you're interested in meeting, I'll be going to the awards for sure, and then also to some of the events the couple days prior. So anyway, guys, that's all I have for you today. ScentClub kit number 5 has dropped. Please get it before it sells out. With the last kit, I think I initially dropped $375. That sold out, and then the brand, not the brand, but the fulfillment company said, we have all this juice left over. We have around 50 more. So I think as of now, there's only 5 kit number 4 left. So we're selling about 425 of that kit. But now that we're doing you know, not distributing, but we're shipping to international countries, we are dropping an initial drop of 400 kits of kit number 5, and I think with that one, I think we'll be stopping at 425 as well. So unless there's more demand and we have more juice left, we'd like to make sure we run out of these kits and not have any more left. But with what happened with number 5 and the fact that the fulfillment company had some issues and things like that, they were able to, you know, prepare more kits and have them available. So if you haven't bought kit number 4, get it. That is about to sell out. There's only 5 left as of the last check. And then kit number 5 has dropped now. And again, as I said, there's 400 to sell. And once it sells out, we will not sell anymore. But anyway, that's all I have for you guys today. Sorry, I'm a little under the weather. Hope all of this made sense. If you have any questions or comments, please list below. Yeah, that's all I have for you. Get your kits before we run out. These are 3 amazing, amazing fragrances. I wouldn't feature these fragrances in a kit if they weren't. I really absolutely love all these fragrances. I've had brands come to me and ask me to feature their fragrances, and I'm saying no, I don't think so. If I really love it and I'm pushing it on my channel, hyping it, then I would like to do it, but it hasn't been hyped. It's not one of my favorites, so I can't do it. But these, really absolutely love these 3 fragrances. I love them, and I love wearing them. So those are the only ones that I'll be featuring in these kits, and don't miss out on you know, getting a chance at getting kit number 5. Anyway, thanks again. Please like this video if you haven't. Please share it and follow me on Instagram and Facebook, and I'll be back with more videos very soon. Have a good one. Goodbye.